Good morning, class. This is Professor Yorkin. What I would like to talk to you, will give you a little background for your exercise this upcoming Monday, the 16th. And it's a pricing model. And the pricing model was one that was introduced to me by Professor Rockne Walters of Kelley School of Business. Rockne is actually one of the top pricing people in the U.S. And the tool is what we call a price benefit mapping tool. And the reason why I bring this up is that, we have so much focus around price of products that it is the job of the marketer really to emphasize and quantitate the benefit and communicate the benefits so that price can be put into a relative to those benefits. Now, the first thing that folks think about is going to be price elasticity, and basically what we have here, and I'm going to pull up a laser pointer, is we have a demand curve, okay, and this you should be exposed to in microeconomics. Basically, demand curve goes in this sloping direction in terms of price to quantity, in contrast to a supply curve, which is sloping in this direction. It relates to the ability to supply and the shift in the supply depending on the number of players in the marketplace or not, and allowing for greater supply in the marketplace drives down price, whereas less supply pulling back the price will increase the price that's there. We pulled data from a survey that we did of individuals who had done a pre-test of a contact lens that was coming into the marketplace. It was called Daly's Total One. And of those individuals who had been able to test this contact lens out with their patients, with a number of patients, they filled out a survey. And in the survey, we had a price elasticity question relative to price versus quantity. And that created this line here, which was regressed. So basically, we plotted a scattergram, and then what we did was regress the data, which gives you this equation here, which is price is then this 103, which is your y-intercept, and then basically the slope, okay, times quantity. Now, what's interesting, and you'll learn in microeconomics, is that you can be able to calculate marginal revenue from this price curve. And it's basically if you go twice the quantity. So here's 766, 1.53 quantity. Now, and you use the same y-intercept, you can create what we call a marginal revenue line. Well, why is that important? It is important because there is a belief that if you continue to discount, that you're going to get more market share. But there's a certain point where if you look at the price versus the quantity, that the incremental revenue flattens off and you don't have any gain. And this is the point of the marginal revenue line, where it just does not make sense to be discounting further. You should be, as a marketing manager, maybe looking at other things, such as increasing awareness or creating greater value in the product or product line. Okay, so this is important as we look at this relationship, because here we see, when we did this, we recommended back out that, basically at this price, okay, of packs of these contact lenses, that we would end up with a quantity of 68 that would be purchased, and we could see our elasticity being 1. And understand, as you drop below margin revenue of 0, where you get into this what we call price inelastic, where price elastic talks about responsiveness to the price that is there. So the issue here is that it's not just about just pure price and quantity that is there and demand. We need to pivot as marketers, our customers, to think about benefits. And hence, what we have is a price benefit model. So what we did with these individuals were, we had additional questions in our survey. And what we did was we asked some questions. The first set of questions we asked is, we have 7 benefits here. Okay, comfort to ease of use. And if you put them all together and say they all add up to 100%, distribute them out. So basically it gives in terms of how they would value in terms of their priority scheme, in terms of what are the most important in terms of weight. So in this case, comfort and end of day of comfort. And if you think about it, if you wear contact lens, where most important thing is, are they comfortable? But also at the end of the day, because especially as you get older, your eyes dry out. And so when your eyes dry out, when you tend to find that you run into problems is end of day. Example is when I'm grading your papers at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, I start having some difficulty in terms of with my contact lenses and what I'll call my near vision, reading vision that's there. And that is because end-of-day comfort and functionality are being affected. We then went and had several different competitors in this space that the product Dailies Total One were competing with. And what we ended up doing was we asked the advisors then on a 1 to 7 scale to rate these products in terms of these individual benefits. Okay, and so we actually got an average scoring of just an overall rating of these benefit categories, and I'll show the spreadsheet behind that in a second. And then what we did was we put the benefit and the weighting together, and then what we did is get a weighted benefit score that netted out. Now you can take this data and then you can then plot it versus the published prices of the products. And what you net out with is you plot it in a scatter graph, and then again you can regress this. Okay, basically you plot the line, regress. Excel will easily, you just say publish the regression line, and what you're looking for is the slope, the intercept, but also is you want to know how strong this is. R squared 0.77 is not too bad. Ideally, we're looking for regression lines of 0.9 or higher. So when we look at this regression line, there's a few things that if you're above the line, means that your price is outstripping your benefits. If you're below the lines, means you're good value. You actually have more value than your price. You want to shoot, and the question that we want to find out is if we price this product, where would it be that we have a good benefit? And what we found, based on the published price that we were going with, that the benefit line, that the benefit score really tied very nicely to this point here. So anyway, that gives you a sense of what that tool is, and I'm just going to show you the spreadsheet behind it. So bear with me for a second. All right, so basically what you'll be creating on Monday, I'll give you a working case. It probably will be a mix of products that are there with a mix of benefits that are there. It'll be described in the case. And step one is you have to create a table that has your benefit weights. Usually you're taking this from market research data that have come in from your respondents. Then your second step is to pull in then the rate of competitive mix of products against the benefit mix. Again, this is market research data, and so then what happens is that you look against these data, and what you end up with is a mix of benefit ratings that are there for each individual product, and that get to that second bar chart. Third is then you calculate the total weighted benefit by multiplying relative weight versus the individual benefit that's there. So as you can see, you do that. And one thing that I do suggest is if you are looking at comfort, is that you lock that cell for that rating. Very simple. If you are on Microsoft platform or Windows platform, you can hit function 4 and lock in with $signs. Now that makes it very easy then to pull the equation down through the particular category. And so now you get your weighted benefits, then you can get your total benefit score, and what you find is these total benefit scores that are here, And as we move across, you can see I've created a bar chart based off those data. Okay? So create your bar charts, and then we get the last piece. And the last piece is the pricing model. And in the pricing model, what we're doing is we have taken the total benefit scores here, plotted them out per product, and then relative to what we have in a particular SKU, or in this case 90 packs, which is basically a month and a half to 2 months of contact lenses, because these are daily disposables. You have 2 of them, so 60 will give you basically a month, so 90 will give you about a month and a half. So we plot it on a scatter, all right, and then we regress the data. So how you do this is you go to Format Trend Line, and guess what? You hit Linear, and then here we go, Linear. And then it says display equation on chart, display R-square. And that's how you end up with your equation, your R-square, which is 0.72. And then you can look at which products are below the line and which products, and in this case, what is interesting, and I didn't intend this to be, but at the price, it was well priced, right on line to the benefits that are offered. So anyway, this gives you some perspective on what you will be working on for your assignment this upcoming Monday. It also gives you a new tool to use as a marketer, and it's a tool that's very important at the end of the day, because what we want you to be thinking about as a marketer is not just about discounting, because that can be because of competitive pressures, you may have to succumb to it. But what you want to be doing is thinking about how do we communicate value, add value, and make sure that the benefits that are associated are quantitated, so a part of your value story, you are being able to effectively communicate your benefits. All right. Anyway, thanks much. I certainly hope this helps. If there's any questions, just give me a shout. Have a good afternoon.